Earlier this week, we talked with Jennifer Arthurton about creating your kick-ass next chapter. That episode was packed full of energy. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, I encourage you to go back and listen. It was episode 141. I mentioned in that episode that, we're at the end of the year, which is mind-blowing in its own, but this Powerback is the last episode that will air in 2022 on the Gutsy podcast. Look, you and I both know that the next 2 weeks are wonky, to say the least, and I want you to be in the moment. So our team takes time off. I hope that you are taking time off to be present with your loved ones. And what a really beautiful time to sit, to be, to to feel into the magic of what the end of the year brings. It naturally is a reflection point as well. You're looking back at your year. What did you accomplish? Where did you expand? What were your numbers like? Also, what didn't you accomplish? What was on paper that didn't make its way to reality? It's a whole reflection pod. And I encourage you, before we talk about anything else in this episode, is to not criticize yourself for the things that you didn't accomplish. It wasn't the right time or season. There was new information coming to you. Look, every failure, every setback, every obstacle, every that just didn't quite go the way that I was hoping that it would, is an opportunity to learn if you allow yourself to. And don't let those things cast a shadow over the things that you did accomplish. I don't think the things that you accomplish get enough merit or credit. It's like, oh yeah, I did that thing and it came and went. It's done. On to the next thing. What else do we got going on? I see women do that more often than not. It's like, yeah, I wanted to do this thing. I went after it. I achieved that thing. Yay for me for 14 seconds. And then, well, I didn't get this done though. I need to move on to the next thing. I have this bigger thing to accomplish. And yes, there is always time to learn and grow and expand. But I encourage you to bask in the glory of the fucking amazing things that you did accomplish this year. It may have been small. It may be as simple as registering your LLC for the first time. Maybe you hired your first employee. Maybe you started working with people internationally. Maybe you got the courage to speak on a podcast. Hell, maybe you just allowed yourself to change your wardrobe because you wanted to dress more like yourself. Look, wins don't have to be enormous for them to be wins. You get to celebrate every ounce of every single one of them. Look, in Jennifer's episode in 141, she said something pretty profound that gets you right in the goods. And she said that a lot of women say the phrase, but I did what I was supposed to do. And that really got me thinking and was the inspiration for this week's Powerback episode, which is about undoing that phrase of, but I have always done it like this. Supposed to do. I've done what I'm supposed to do. Well, isn't that the shoulds show in their fucking face? Tell me if any of these ring true to you. But I've always taken care of everybody else, been the strong one, cut my hair this way, worked for somebody else, been in this type of career, dressed this way, been in a heterosexual relationship for my whole life, followed my family's traditions. I mean, we could go on for days, but I have always. And I want to preface and say that if any of those things feel right to you, not just the things that I said, but whatever came up for you, if it feels right to you, if it feels energized, if it feels in alignment, meaning there's a peace and a calm and a joy that comes along with it, then you don't have to change shit for the sake of changing shit. Like, contentment is not a bad thing. I fought that shit for a long ass time. Let's talk about that for a second. Contentment, I equated with boring, mundane, not growing. And the opposite is actually true. Contentment is the space that allows you to be who you are, to actually have the thing that you've been on the search for. Look, I'm going to guess if you run a business, you don't really want to be running around like a chicken with your fucking haircut on fire. You want to feel successful and content. But if something is not feeling right to you, if you catch yourself, that's the first step in all of this, is recognizing. All I want you to do is start to recognize. Do you say more often than not, well, I've always done it like this. I've always been with that person. I've always done my job like this. I've always ran my business like this. Stop for a second and just kind of take an emotional inventory. Yeah, but is that what I want? Is that what rings true to me? Is that truly in alignment with who I naturally am? If the answer is yes, then fucking green light, pass go, collect $200, get that shit. But if it's not, even if any part of you has a little bit of hesitation, that, my friend, is your opportunity. There's a phrase that goes around that goes something to the effect of, we are way more capable than we give ourselves credit for. And I want to challenge that and maybe expand on that saying by refining it and rephrasing it to, we are way more capable than we give ourselves permission to be. You see, you get to choose. I know that you've been conditioned to believe otherwise. The world tells you how you should be. Your parents told you how you should be. Your spouse told you how you should be. Your work told you how you should be. The business community told you how you should be. Before you know it, you've picked up all of this luggage that doesn't fucking belong to you, but you're lugging that shit around like it's your goddamn job. I'm here to challenge that. I'm here to challenge your thinking to say, what if you allowed yourself to change something? What if you allowed yourself to be more of yourself? What if you allowed yourself to run your business in a way that felt right to you? What if you allowed yourself to put your own needs first, to take care of your mind and your body and your soul so that you're taken care of, so that then you can take even better care of the people around you that you love so dearly? What if you allowed yourself to quit the job that sucks your soul right out of your asshole and move halfway across the country to find a job that you don't even know if you're qualified for, but damn it, you're gonna give it a go because you believe in your worth? What if you allowed yourself to dress more eclectically? Look, all of these things, and we could go on and on and on. And by the way, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about when we do coaching together. So whether it's with a 90-minute alignment session, if that's something that interests you, LauraAura.com is the best place to book a discovery call where we can just like meet each other, see if we're the right fit. Or if you're like, fuck yes, let's do it. I'm ready to work with Laura because I'm ready to get out of my own bullshit and I need someone to hold my ass accountable and also love me and encourage me along the way, then you can sign up for coaching on my website too, LauraAura.com. Here's what I want you to know about these limiting beliefs, these thoughts and feelings that you've had for quite some time, this way of living, this way of being. This is not an overnight fix, my friend. This is not a 5-step program. This is not a magic pill. This is not a system that's just like automatically going to make you a happy bajillionaire overnight. This is the real work. And I know you're saying like, okay, Laura, you're saying this is a real work. I don't want to work. Okay, but do you want to stay where you are today? That's the challenging question. Because look, anything that you do in life has a time of learning and growing and getting uncomfortable, sometimes even challenging. But I want you to really absorb today is pick your hard. Do you want to stay where you're at right now? Do you want to keep doing these things that are draining your soul out? Do you want to keep living as a smaller version of what you innately know that you are? Like, right? Or do you want to choose the hard where you get a little uncomfortable? You start trying some new things. You start relearning who you are as a human and you start living. Yeah, you start living. That's the whole premise of all of this. By living under this mat of, well, I've always done it like this, well, then you're going to continue to feel the way that you feel. Point blank. Look, you know that I love you deeply. You know I'm going to keep it fucking real with you, and you know that I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to stretch you to learn more about who you are. You don't have to dress the way that you don't want to dress anymore. All of these fears come back to everyone else. I'm worried about what they're going to say. I'm worried I'm going to let that person down. I'm worried that person's going to be pissed off at me. I'm worried that person's not going to like me anymore. The list goes on. Most of your fears are based out of everyone else's brains, not from your own. What I've learned from taking copious amounts of quizzes through things like human design, astrology, books, figuring out which Disney princess that I am, all of this stuff, these are magical tools that can help you really learn more about who you are and how you operate in this world. But here's the hard, fast reality of what I've also learned. These things tell you what you already know and start to give you a little bit of permission to start acting on them. So you can absorb information all day long, but if you don't do anything with that information, you're going to continue to stay where you are right now. That's where the fun happens. is taking this information, taking guidance, working with someone to hold you accountable, to help release that stuff that doesn't belong to you, to sit down the baggage that you've picked up along the way, and to start saying yes to yourself. So when you start saying and you feel that hesitation, look, you have to intentionally feel into it. You have to stop long enough to hear yourself. If you're willing and able to do that first, then you truly start to get tapped in. You are tuned into yourself. Look, your body is a magical compass. It will tell you, I promise you, it will tell you what you need to know if you're willing to listen. So, here are the steps that I want to encourage you to do today and moving forward. First and foremost is listen. Recognize. Recognize when you feel something in your body, recognize when you get a thought that feels like it's coming out of left field. If you feel something like physically in your chest or in your gut or in your head, or like something's just like you can't put the words on it, but you know it's there. Your intuition is trying to tell you something. When you feel that, give it some love, give it some attention. What is this saying to you? Here's an example. If you run a small business and you are creating a new program for 2023 and you feel heavy doing it, if there's hesitation, you are procrastinating like hell. When you go to create content, it's like you're hitting a brick wall. Like every step of the process feels hard and challenging and draining. Recognize that. That is your body and your spirit's way of saying, this is probably not for us, but rather I'm falling into a should. I feel like I should create a program like this because that's what everyone else is doing and they're successful. So therefore, I should do it as well. On the flip side of that coin, if you are creating a program and you feel excited as shit, right? Like you can't wait to get into it. The content is pouring out of you like a bucket of water, like a fire hose almost. Like you wake up excited to do this. You're daydreaming about it when you're doing other things. Like there's just this energy and you feel really enlightened and excited and inspired by it. Look, that's all systems go. That's your intuition saying, yeah, this is the right thing for me, regardless of what everyone else is doing on the internet, regardless of whatever the other stores around you are doing. It doesn't matter because I am choosing from my own aligned space. So once you recognize, then you can start to release. Because if you've heard yourself, if you went into that situation, you're like, okay, I feel that I have a lot of hesitation with this. What is the belief behind that? I believe that I must create this program like other people because they're successful. So therefore, I must do it. Release it. Release the idea that you have to do anything like anybody else. When you really like start to tap into the thoughts and meanings that you, your mind, and your body have put behind these things, that's where the power is. So, okay, I am creating this program. I don't feel in alignment with it. I recognize that. What does that mean? It means that I feel like I can't be my own creative self. I'm going to release that. And I'm going to allow myself to do it the way that I want to. And that's the final step, is to realign. Okay, this doesn't feel right. I recognize that. Oh, that's somebody else's freaking bullshit. That's not for me. What do I need? What do I want? What feels good in my soul? And then give yourself permission to do it. Look, my friend, you get to choose. You get to choose what your life looks and feels like, what your business looks and feel like, what your relationships look and feel like. You get to choose this life because it is yours. And while I understand that there may be some challenging circumstances, that doesn't have to be your permanent story. If you want something different, you have to do things differently. And I believe in you. I've seen women do it over and over and over again. If you are ready to say yes to yourself and start really truly stepping into your fullest aligned version, and you need some accountability, you need some inspiration, and you need some guidance, book a call with me at LauraAura.com. It would be my joy and my honor to guide you on your process. I also want to take a second and thank you as the listener. You are brilliant. I know that you listen to this podcast because there's something in you that burns brighter. There is an oomph, there is an excitement, there is a calling, and wherever you are on your journey, I want to first thank you for saying yes to yourself by allowing yourself to listen to these episodes. And also, we just surpassed the 50,000 download mark, and that fucking blows my mind. Like, to think about my voice, my message, and my guests being heard over 50,000 times is humbling beyond words, especially because most of my journey has been overcoming the fear of being seen and heard. And you have helped me to heal that through this podcast. So I thank you so much. In 2023, look, we're getting fucking unhinged around here. More expansiveness, more rawness, more opportunities for us to work together. And I've got some really cool episodes that I'm excited to share with you. We're already recorded out half of the year, but we're going to start the year off super strong and super fresh. If you're interested in running an Etsy shop, my guest is talking all about building and creating and managing a profitable Etsy shop. We also talk about in other episodes, building your confidence, making your and transforming your website into a gold mine. Ooh, that episode is really good. And if you're interested in starting and growing a coaching business, there's an episode on that. So those are just a few in the first couple of weeks to get your ass moving in the new year. I send you, your family, your friends, and your loved ones so much love, so much respect, and continue to stay your gutsy fucking self.